I would. Okay, my name is Smadar Goldstein. I'm the CEO of JETS from EdTech Solutions. JETS offers professional development to thousands of teachers across the globe. I just got back this morning from London, where I'll be doing an EdTech conference for 20 European educators from 8 different countries in January, so I went there to plan it. So I'm still awake, which is professional development, and we're here to talk about blended learning courses. This idea was born as a discussion with the Federation of Washington, so a shout out to Avi West and his cohort over there and Samantha, in offering services. What can a community, a Jewish community, a Jewish federation, or a bunch of Hebrew schools together, how can they band together and offer their community a product that is helpful for students and educators and perhaps parents? And also welcome to Rabbi Shelley Klaz, also a fabulous participant and a fellow kidney donor. Thank you, Shelley, for coming. So feel free, a lot of people here have taken our courses and used our products before, so if it's okay with everyone, I can share emails afterwards, and if you all want to talk about us when we're not here, that is perfectly welcome and understandable. So we're going to get started with kind of a little presentation that I put together. If your community were to offer a blended learning course, not homework, not something the student has to do in the Hebrew school where there might be internet challenges or device challenges, the student would do this entirely at home. We would build it and design it with you. We would give you a variety of topics. What would it look like? What would it sound like? What would it feel like? How much would it cost? That is what I am here to show you. I'm going to show you a few samples of a few different topics, and then I'd love your questions and feedback and thoughts. So that's what we're calling blended learning courses. Here we go. So the topics we talked about before would be we focus Jewish calendar and holidays, which is obviously popular, values, a little bit of Israel. We also do Holocaust education, and we have done this already. This is not the first time we're doing it. We've done it in different formats. We're going to take a look at some different activities that the kids would do. For example, this was actually designed by a teacher in Rabbi Shelley's community.
Smadar?
Yeah?
There's a lot of background noise. I'm wondering if everyone could be muted. I assume.
Okay, so we are going to mute everybody. And then if you do want to talk, you can just unmute yourself. Yeah. Okay. So this is what we call a thing link. What would the student do? The student would just get this link up here. You, the teacher, or you, the community, we would put together the course, but we would not facilitate it. Your community would facilitate it, and we'll talk about that also towards the end. All you need to do is send the student the link and tell the student, okay, by this and this date, please complete the activities in this thing link. And as you can see, it's obviously about Hanukkah. As you can see, their activities here. They can watch a video, a little bit about the story. You can all watch that on your own time. Then they have to watch the video and then say, well, what happened on the story of Hanukkah? When I think of Hanukkah, I think of what? And as you can see, these are all answers that students have written in on their own time, in their own freedom. They can do this on their phone. They can do it when they're in the car. They could do this pretty much anywhere. They don't need to be in a Hebrew school to watch the video and answer the question. Everyone just types the answer in here. As you can see, oil is a popular response, and the more student writes oil, the larger it will be. So 13 people wrote oil, 18 people wrote presents, 2 people wrote menorah, etc., etc. And so they've seen this video, they've answered this thing link. What else do they need to do? They're going to watch, they're going to learn more about the Chanukiah here. And this is, so again, I didn't make this one. I taught a teacher in Rabbi Shelley's community to make this, but I think it's gorgeous. Little information about Hanukkah, when, what, where, and here it has the blessings. So it's a link. So you ask the student about that, and then you take a poll. Again, the student is doing this on their own time, in their own space. And it's asked, what's your favorite Hanukkah food? The student gets to vote. The student continues, watch another animated story about Hanukkah. Student continues here with a resource board. put something about Hanukkah that you learned that you didn't know before. So the student would have to go over here, post their answer based on what they've just learned in those videos, and press post, and it pops up over here. This is really gorgeous. I'm very proud. This is like a grandchild for me because I taught this teacher how to make this. Another video and a Hanukkah game. So how long would that take a student to complete? You know, in your opinion, do they need to do it in one sitting? No. Yeah, you know, feel free to unmute and shout out here. You could say, the teacher, the facilitator would say, I'm sending this to you on Sunday. Please have it done by next Sunday. The student has the flexibility to do it by next Sunday. What will happen then? Well, we have a follow-up system where we strongly recommend, and we can make this part of the course, a point system, where the student earns points for every activity they complete. How do you know they completed the activity? This one that was called the Answer Garden, if they posted on it, then they get points. This one, the Lino board, if they posted it, Silas, Sabrina, Sam, they posted on it, they get points. And you can keep track here along the way for each lesson. So therefore, there's a point system where the students are motivated. You, the facilitator, decides what to do with the point system. Once a month you cash in, once every 2 months, once every 6 months. How are you cashing in? What are you gaining for those point system? That is up to you, but that is what we recommend to give a little bit of motivation there. That was Hanukkah. Here's something for Tu B'Shvat. Tu B'Shvat is coming up. This is called a Padlet. So again, we, the Jets, would design this for your community, and you and the students would have to complete it. They can do it whenever they want. I'm putting the Padlet here in the chat box. If you want to click on it, you can do it. Again, you would say, please complete this Padlet by next Sunday. And you can tell them to respond to one question. You could tell them to respond to 2, 3, 4, all of the above, etc., etc. Are there in-school lessons to go along with any of this? Yes. You can do this in the classroom. We're offering this as a course. Shelley, do you want to unmute and pop in your 2 cents there?
Sure. There are a lot of different ways it can be used. It can be used as an independent exercise at home. It can be used in class. They can be doing it on their devices in pairs or individually in class. If you have a smart board, then they can see it also large, but you don't need to have a smart board for that. And you can even do, start something in class. And for example, the same teacher who made the Hanukkah activity made something with JI Tap for creation. So the kids were making, they had a page with a verse for each day of creation, and they illustrated it. And they didn't have to do it at home, but they wanted to work more on it, so they did it at home anyway. It wasn't assigned. So it can be used any way you want.
So the idea here is we would build a course. What we recommend is 12 courses. Each one lasts 45 minutes. And you can use it how you want. But does it have to be done in the space, in the synagogue? No. It can be done anywhere. You, the facilitator, decides how much on site, how much independently, etc. So as you can see here, each column has a different activity. This is a fantastic.
Also found a creative way to get rid of rodents as well.
What we used to do is basically used to take poison in a bottle, in a teaspoon, and somebody's job was to walk up and down the rows, and every time they saw a mouse hole, to take a teaspoon of poison and throw it down the hole. Now, obviously that's not ecologically friendly. On top of that, if it rains or if we irrigate our fields, all that poison is going in the ground. So we said, what is a natural solution to rodents? And the natural solution that we found is the barn owl. The barn owl is an amazing raptor. 2 owls can capture an average of 2,000 to 5,000 mice a year. Okay, that's a lot of rodents.
There was just one problem with the owls.
They fly away. And one of the places they would fly to is Jordan, which is very close by. In Jordan, they were shooting them. In Arab folklore, the barn owl is a harbinger of death. And they're very superstitious about barn owls. So they see a barn owl, they shoot it. So very simply, we went to Jordan and we invited the Jordanian farmers to come to Staley Out to see what we were doing here. This was over 20 years ago. And today we have over 2,600 nesting boxes across the country. The numbers keep growing. But also it's become a wonderful program of regional cooperation, also with Jordan, also with the Palestinian Authority. This has been amazing, amazing success story. We tell the people it's not the dove bringing peace anymore to the Middle East, it's the barn owl. We're a light unto the nations, we're supposed to be anyways. If we want to really save the environment, if we really want to help the world, then we can't keep these things to ourselves. We have to share these things. We have to share this knowledge. And I think by helping others, we're helping ourselves as well.
So that would be part of the, this is the Padlet. So then here the student is asked, share an animal or plant from the Bible and examine its modern day use. So except instead of the dove, you know, the comparison between the dove and the barn owl, both a harbinger of peace. So asking the student to analyze that and then saying, do they know anything about it? So I'm just going to address some questions in the chat right now. Is it grade level driven? Well, again, this would be customized. What I'm showing you now are samples of courses that we've already designed. You could say, I want a holidays course, or I want 12 lessons, 3 holiday, 3 Holocaust, 3 Israel, 3 Bible stories. Hopefully that was 12. Like I said, I'm tired. The cost is $10,000 for those 12. Yeah, 45-minute lessons each. The goal would be to join as a consortium to your community and say, if you have 5 Hebrew schools all splitting this cost, can we all use this? Yes, you can all use it. That's fine. And we would discuss which topics you want and which grade level. If your consortium wants all for grade 6 and 7, that's what we will do. Another question coming in, a list of the different platforms. Yes, Rabbi Dave, I will do that. Hi, good to see you. Class session versus course orally. Once you own it, you can keep using it. Thank you, Shelley. It's not a pay-per-use. That is true. You use it and it's yours. We do recommend a $1,000 maintenance fee per year, making sure, because these things, once students post on them here, and again, you have the link in this chat box here, so you could say, I see the word, this is a it's called optical illusion, good first. Well, I'm just saying that because I want you to think I'm a good person. But I would see the word good first, and how can I draw using good and evil? So you would press the 3 dots here, and you'd press draw. And here now I have to draw a tree, and somehow it has to represent good and it has to represent or evil. You know, so maybe I want to take a couple of positive colors here, and that's a good tree as opposed to, you could do white or black background. So maybe that's good and that's evil. You could add your name, and then you press save, and it goes on this board. What does this have to do with maintenance? So maintenance, I want to make sure the Padlet is neat and clean and wiped every year. Or you could tell me, we didn't like column 5. Can you get rid of it? No problem. If you want, we also have, this includes, the $10,000 includes teacher training. We would teach your teachers how to facilitate this. It includes up to 3 hours of teacher training. Like I said, I'm in the East Coast 3 times a year, so we could do it on site. If not, we could do it online. Another question, you have 5 synagogues, educational directors meet and collaborate very regularly. How would you adopt to different grade levels within the same topic? So if you want 12 sessions course, we could say, once we did this for another community, and we said we made an intro course and an intermediate course. And that way we didn't call it grades 4 and 5, because then they had a student in grade 6 and 7, and they don't want to go on a Padlet or go on a thing link that says this is grade 4 and 5. And maybe they're a new student that doesn't have a lot of Judaic background. So we called it intermediate and beginners. And that way, and we adjusted the pictures and the videos for that age group. So we can play with it like that. And again, I'm happy to continue any of these conversations afterwards. I'm going to show you another sample or 2, and then we'll continue with questions. Please feel free to keep posting questions in the chat. Here's another thing link. Anybody want to guess which thing link this is? For which holiday is this thing link? Want to take a guess about there?
Purim?
There we go. Castle. Well done. So they watched this video about Ahasuerus in his castle.
Princes of Persia and Media, what do you think of the riches and wonders of my glorious kingdom and mine?
So they watch that video, and then they move on to number 2. Esther's chosen queen. Design a Persian crown with this online tool. They have to draw. So they're doing that. Oh, sorry, number 1, I skipped the follow-up activity. They're supposed to click here, and then this is also an answer garden. How would you describe King Ahasuerus? This went out, as you can see, to many different students after watching that video. This is what people wrote. This is a drawing tool called UI Draw, and you have all these options here and all these different colors. You can draw a crown, colors, you can put in a picture. Number 3 is...
I can't believe we got caught. Me and Big Son had it all planned out, how we were going to poison the king and take over the kingdom. But Mordecai, he's always hanging around the palace. He overheard our plans, and he told Esther. She ratted on us to the king, and now we're going to get hung.
But
I can't believe we got caught.
okay, that was number 3, and there's number 4. Another video. So as the student, it's pretty clear to the student, this one is so cute. We'll look at this one, and then we'll pause for more questions. I just want to get it bigger. This one is called I Fake Text, and we write this, but then we can recommend that the student writes themselves. Thank you, Nori. Feel free to be in touch. Esther, yeah. Did you hear about the terrible decree? I did. Awful. You're going to have to go to the king and beg him for mercy. Me, I can't go. Everyone knows that you have to be summoned. If I go on my own, the king will surely have me hung. Don't worry about yourself, Esther. The entire Jewish people is at stake. Perhaps this is the very reason you became queen. You could also ask the student to record this, or 2 students to record it, so they get the drama, etc. Okay, I'm going to put this link in the chat box for those of you who want to press things, and then I'm going to pause for questions because I see a bunch of people are writing in. So teacher training would end up enabling teachers to create their own activities, so does also EdTech training in general. Yes, thank you, Shelley, that is true. And I have done extensive training for teachers in Shelley's community, so this works hand in hand. If you decide that you want more extensive training for your teachers and they'll continue creating more tools on their own, we could do that too. Feedback from teachers, students, and parents we have is very positive. Shelley's a client. She could say something now if you would like. Sharon has taken our courses. Lisa has taken our courses. So a bunch of people here are feel free to pop up. Shelley, go ahead.
So we've done, we also worked locally, regionally. We worked together, our principals council got together to pool our resources. And we've done teacher training, a class called No Teacher Left Behind, which is 8 sessions of 1.5 hours each, and it's online, so it's very convenient. And it's also recorded if anyone has to miss a session. We commissioned a class, a 7th grade class. We chose the topics of Shoah for one semester in Israel for the other. We're now in our 6th year, I think, of doing it. Every year we tweak it, and it's now being used all over North America. And it's a fantastic class. I mean, the parents are beyond happy because they hear what the kids are learning. The kids love it. It's just fabulous. They like the convenience, but they also really like the content. The teacher is actually in Israel. It's taught live. We've also used modules that, and a friend of mine who's director in Manhattan has created modules with jets that are used by the teachers in the classroom, at home, whatever they'd like. So there's any number of things that you can do. And we've also done Shutafut, which is an exchange program with a class in Israel that the kids do on their in class, but not live, obviously. And that's also been great. And the parents are very aware of what's happening. They get to see some of this material. We send home links. They hear about it from their children, and they also sometimes, if it's an online class that the kids are doing at home, they like to pop in and listen.
Thank you. That was great. And Shelley's usually okay if I give out her email afterwards if you want to email her.
Sure, of course.
Okay, thank you. Another great question from Sharon. How does the teacher see all the students work online? So if it's a answer garden like this, so you don't know which student did it, so there is a trust element and there is an introduction to the course. Introducing the teacher, again, we do teacher training for you. And then we have a recommended document of how to address the students and how to launch this. Just like you would launch any program, you wouldn't just send this out without any kind of introduction whatsoever. You would launch the program, and we have the point system. We would explain that in the document or in a video, and you would be able to supplement that with your students. Here they can add their names. The answer garden, they can't add their names, but here or the other Lino board, they can. I'll show you one more element. This one, there's, of course, what is a mitzvah? This is about Lashon Hara and teaching kids about speaking kindly about one another. Cyberbullying and online shaming is a huge, huge, huge concept. My kids are on endless amounts of WhatsApp groups, and we are constantly, as parents, getting notifications. Did you see this? Did you see that? There have been serious issues among my own children's WhatsApp groups. So I think addressing something like this and saying Lashon Hara, speaking gossip about a person, is a Jewish value. To not do that, to not say anything. You're actually not supposed to say anything, not good and not bad, because then you get things like this. Kids like Steve have no business even trying out. We designed this. This is all made up. This is not taken from any authentic student. What is wrong with this conversation? Talks about planets all the time. And here you could see 32 people like it, 10 shares. And that becomes a discussion point in your synagogue or in your community. The next time you do have an on-site discussion or a webinar group, then yes, you can bring this out and address it. And all the data from here, Sharon, is saved. And you have something like this is a Google form. This is saved. So some of the data is saved on a personal account that we would create for you, and some of it is more open. So if you're just reading this, you know, these are issues that we want to discuss with our students. Being negative, how would you respond? How many were Lashon Hara? And how are they supposed to know what is Lashon Hara? So we would tell them. Part of our course is telling them things like this. And we would give them slides, videos. I'm showing you haphazard from different topics so you get an idea of the range of topics, but it would come to you in an organized fashion. Are there models for year-long classes? Yes, we can, Sharon. We can discuss that. Absolutely. That is, yeah. So let me just finish this up because I did promise it would be half an hour, but I'm happy to stay on for as long as people want. I just wanted to show you another couple of ideas. These are other topics we have. We have Jewish values, and then when we teach a Jewish value, we like to attach it to a name and a face. So it's not just, oh, let's learn about human rights without discussing a concept of human rights. So no, this we developed for JCC Manhattan, and she was very careful with the value she chose. This is the director there and the people who match the value. So we can suggest some, and if you want someone specific, then we're happy to do that. So we have a whole course on human rights and values. What is a mitzvah? So one of the samples was the Lashon Hara. Not a lot of kids know that that is a Jewish concept. Torah stories, you know, basic Bible stories. Bereshit is rich, so rich with information. Shmot, we don't do much on korbanot and animal sacrifice, but we do a lot on the, you know, the main Bible stories that, yes, we want Jewish kids to know, and that would be up for discussion as well. Gamification, that would be in the introduction for the teacher training and for the students. That is the point system that I referred to before. We call that gamification, incentivizing and motivating your students to do this. If you are giving them a week to do it, why would they? I was talking to Alicia before, and she said they're not going to do anything at home. So this would be an attempt. Alicia, tell me if you think this would be helpful. If not, you guys are the experts. We work with a lot of Hebrew schools, so we're getting some feedback that might help. Alicia, what do you think?
I think it depends on how the synagogue broadcasts it. I mean, it's sort of widely known in both of the places that I teach that they will never be given homework, period. And, even in my Hebrew classes in the one synagogue where I can assign homework, and literally it's like practicing the Hanukkah blessings right now. They'll tell me 100 things that they have to do instead. So I just don't see how there's a motivation, because they don't want to do it. And I think there's a hierarchy that in many of the families, the parents don't really care. I hate to be a naysayer or a downer or anything like that, because I know that, my kids did things and I signed off on it when they went to Hebrew school, but I just see it lagging in, our local community here, the carryover that we can send things home.
May I respond to that?
Please.
Sure.
So some of this that we're doing is instead of in-person classes. I was answering Sharon about our 7th grade class. The parents are thrilled that they are at home doing the lesson. It's high quality. We are very happy with it. And so they're happy to do an online course from home and do the creative exercises that go along with it. We have high.
Can I ask a question about that, though?
Sure.
Do they also have to attend an after-school Hebrew school
Yes,
program?
they do. Once a week they come in person, and once a week they do the online course.
Interesting. What do they do when they come into the building, let's say? Is that like a Hebrew instruction?
They have, this happens to be for our 7th grade. They have, they're doing a little bit of conversational Hebrew when they come in person. But a lot of the rest of what they do, they daven together, and they also, they supplement or reinforce what they've done in the online course. So we have speakers, for example, yesterday we had a speaker about Kristallnacht when they had learned about Kristallnacht in their last session. They're going to have 2 sessions on 2 Wednesdays where they watch the film Defiance in person and discuss it after they've had a session with their teacher in Israel online about physical and spiritual resistance, or 2 sessions. So it ends up giving us a little more flexibility.
Right. I see. We have also a huge issue in the community. I live in Union County, which is where one of the synagogues is, but also in Essex County where the other one is, where there are other offerings other than belonging to a synagogue where the children can fulfill Jewish education needs. Okay? And, the ultimate thing with this is that they eventually then get some rabbi somewhere to bar bat mitzvah or whatever, but they're not affiliated with the synagogue. Here, in working in the synagogues, it's a huge thing where we want the kids to come and we want them to be part of the community of the synagogue, and we don't want them to be able to get their information from elsewhere so easily. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I think each synagogue will have their own needs, and this maybe is appropriate for some of you and not for others, and that's okay. I'm here to show you an option. If it works for you, I'm happy to continue discussing it. I'm happy to call any of you if you'd like to do that. You have my email. Just tag me, or I will definitely email you afterwards, and we can have those conversations. I just wanted to, I did want to commit to keeping it short, and I will stay on for afterwards, but an implementation plan, which again will be part of the teacher and student training. How do you get this done? The school facilitator, meaning you or your teachers, if you are directors of the school, needs to know the activities and access them, but you do not need to create them. If you feel like this is way above your teachers, they're not going to do this, that's fine. That is our expertise. We have been doing this for 10 years. We know how to do it, and we do it well. We do it all over the world. So we will create the activities. You, the facilitator, needs to make a schedule. Which activity is being completed by which time? You need to touch base with student parents and parents and students, which is what you do anyway. And we do recommend doing some live sessions in a synagogue what you do anyway, but kind of adjusting it and including activities in your launch synagogue session so that it becomes part of the language and the culture of the school. Here's a sample email that you could send to your parents and students if you are the facilitator. Tu B'Shvat is coming right up. So this week, please complete the Tu B'Shvat activities. Here you would link in the video. Text me what is the new bird of peace and why. That was that video I showed you about the barn owl. Post a response to column 1 on the Padlet. That was the Padlet I showed you. So sharing them the Padlet. And then we're having a shuk kachten, a kachten shuk. In Israel, this is popular because Tu B'Shvat tends to be a holiday about nature. So kachten means take and give. So what people do here is you come to your synagogue or your community, you bring something you don't want, and you take something from someone else. And it's called kachten, take and give. So that could be a follow-up activity to the Padlet. And we would make these recommendations in the teacher training for you. We don't expect you to know Israeli culture and what a kachten shuk is. We would make those suggestions and explain it to you. If you would be excited about it, we could brainstorm with you, say, great, take the idea, run for it. So bring 2 items. Our next webinar session will be this and this date. So the Lashon Hara form will be based on the webinar. We do recommend making webinars, which means students log in from home. In this 12-session courses, we recommend 2 are online the way we are learning right now. That your students log in from where they are, and we would help, and we would design those for you as well, and then just train the teacher how to do it. So that's what a facilitator would need to do. And learn more is I put together a little FAQ on our website, which talks about all of this, but I am happy to talk to you privately as well. So I'll put this in the chat. I'll also email it to you.
Thank you.
That is a presentation. I am staying on for any additional questions, but I wanted to stick to my time. Thank you, Shelley, for this feedback that you just put in. So any other questions or anything else you'd like me to show or share? Thank you, Lisa. Avi, go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is very accessible, and I thank you for the flexibility of having a regional collaborative group be able to come together on it. That's something we can at least entertain and see where we can go with it. So we'll take it back for a confab with the ed directors, whoever was on the call, and we'll get back to you.
You could get together with synagogues anywhere in North America to pitch in and make it happen. I mean, it's nice to have something where you're also seeing each other face to face, but
absolutely.
Was there a limit in how many congregations can work together?
No, not from my end. For our end, there would be an additional cost if we have to make, if you're saying you're going to have, 50 schools, and, I didn't even get to show you this one, but if you're going to have 50 schools, so then this Padlet, if every student is posting here, so we would divide them maybe into group 1, group 2, group 3. So there might be a surcharge if you get to 50, the $10,000 would cover, let's say, 5 or 10 schools for the basic course. And then if you have, every another 5 or 10 additional schools, there would be a small surcharge, not the same 10,000, but a surcharge to keep the platforms functioning for a group that size.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys can all get together and do this together, and everybody has it. That works.
you could start trying a course they already have made too and are making available, and then see if you can want to jump to the make the investment.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, for sure. Do we offer private tutoring sessions for this? Yes, we do have a course, like Shelley said, it's called No Teacher Left Behind. The next one is being run in not till June. So if you want to bring a group of teachers to the one that we have in June, you can do that. That's $350 per teacher. If you have your own group of 10 teachers, so then we'd give you a discount. It would be $32.50 for 10 teachers. And that would be a private group of only your own teachers, of only topics you want to talk about. And we could adjust that you know, to a time and date also that works for you. The one in June are time and dates that we have already set. Can I share with you the courses that you already have? I can share the topics, but I can't share the actual material. I can send you a sample, you know, from some, like this one, the Padlet, a thing link. I can send things like that. But once I design it for you, it belongs to you, the community. It does not belong to my company anymore. Whoever purchases it owns the intellectual property. Our deal is that I use it for professional development, such as this. I will use it to show, this is what I did for this community. What would you like me to do for yours? So that's why I can't share other courses that I've done, but I can do exactly what I'm doing now. I can share samples and pieces of the pie. Sure. I will send the link. I will follow up with any of you, and I'm happy to stay online, but we are officially, I wanted to stick to the time, so anyone who wants to bow out, you're welcome to, but I will stay online to answer any other questions, and I appreciate everyone coming. Thank you for your participation. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Hanukkah Sameach.
That too.
Yes,
Thank you so.
Hagoim Sameach.
Oh, Houston's here too. That's nice. Say hi to Ari Kellerman. We have a facilitator in Houston also. He can do this too. He's amazing, as you know. Absolutely. Yeah. Great. Rebecca, yeah, we'll be in touch, and you can do a private session. You can join the next course, whatever.
Do you want to send out my email address
Oh.
also, and they can ask me about our experience? I'd be happy.
Thank you, for sure. I'll send out Shelley's email I'll make a follow-up email with the recording, and I'll include